That's, I mean, I think for me that's probably one of the most inspiring things of knowing you is how good you are, how much you've accomplished. Yet you're still like, it's really present to you that there's still like a lot to learn, and you still keep like practicing and trying to pick up new tricks and always improving, like constantly.
That's a great thing with music, is there's no limit. You know, there's so many things you can learn, so many different things that different directions you can go with what you're working on too. You can, you know, get into improvising or something, learn more about chords. You can learn more about arranging things, working with odd meters, whatever it is. And then even on another token, you can learn more about, you know, using gear, doing recording, things like that. There's so much to learn to make you a better, more well-rounded musician. You know?
Actually, yeah, that's a very interesting, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think it's a fairly new thing, especially I think for bass guitar. Guitarists have been using pedals and multi-effects and software for a long time, but I think for us bass players, it's kind of a new thing. I mean, I'm 30 right now, and I started playing 15 years ago, like 16 years ago. And yeah, back in the day, the status quo was you didn't need a pedal.
Yeah.
You just go straight to the amp. Like that's what a bass player does. And then maybe 5 years later, when I was 20, now maybe you need a compressor.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I think I've seen this shift happen in the last decade, where now bass players are as experimental as guitarists when it comes to sound. And I think there's a craft to that goes in parallel with your like musical, like executing music. It's very interesting. There are, like for example, Chris Squire, like he's legend, like one of the greats. Without being like the fastest guy, but it's just he was I call them sonic architects. He was able to craft his tone in a way that it was just he left his mark in music history just by the way. Of course, he played really well also, but his sound was so different. Then Billy also. Well, Billy had both, right? He was like very technically skilled, but you hear two notes and you know that's Billy Sheehan, even if he's not playing super fast.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Billy's tone, you can really hear it. And I remember looking at, in some of the old magazines, he would deconstruct his rig for the magazine.
All the racks. And
man, he put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
So it's nice that now there's a little bit of the thought's been done for us, by guys like you, for example. Yeah, we can get a pedal that might have required a whole lot of crazy bi-amping and stuff like that to put together back in the old days.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very interesting too, because, I mean, the way you sound changes the way you play. That's, for me, it's undeniable. And there's kind of like this connection between like the way you play affects the way you sound, but then the feedback loop, the way you sound, might also make you adjust things. And I find that very fascinating. Like sometimes you can have everything the same, just maybe change settings on a pedal, like change the EQ or something.
Yep. And
all of a sudden your attack is different. Maybe the type of note you play is different. The melodies you play are different. That for me is very interesting. I'm still like trying to discover and try to like uncover, insight on how that works. And
I think you're right. Like I play differently immediately if it's from clean to a dirty tone. Mm-hmm. There's probably something subconscious where you feel like you have to dig in a little more the dirtier the tone is.
Sure,
and so that's why I don't go that dirty. Mm-hmm. I have my B7K dialed in a way where it works for my right hand. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to do that. You're going to dial it in the way that works best for you.
Course, yeah.
If I were playing with a pick, it would probably be a bit more distortion because a pick slices and cuts each note in a way that fingers, being a little bit softer of a surface, are not going to do. Mm-hmm. So you can get away with more gain and still have each note be really clear.
Precise and
with a pick.